Welcome. Incoming message.
This is the May Contain Action podcast
on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and more.
3, 2, 1, 0. All systems active.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 2 of the May Contain Action podcast, the world's leading #1 podcast related to gaming and content creation in the world. Specifically hosted by a Major League Baseball player and a headphone model. Support for the May Contain Action podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. That's your balls. I'm host #1, Paul, aka Action Jackson. What do I say about myself? I lead a very successful stream. I'm loved by everyone, and I once bowled a 275 bowling. A true story. Not bad for me. Host #2, future Hall of Famer and current free agent, Trevor May, aka I am Trevor May. Woo! Woo! You're muted. You're
Such a crazy story. Such a crazy story.
Damn it. Trevor, you're muted?
Dang, I was going to say my high bowling score was a 276, but you know what? You ruined it by being muted because that's what you do every day. What's up, guys? We're here. It's Thursday again. It's time for the pod.
Time for the pod. Someone tweeted us recently. They're like, I don't know if you saw this. They're like, hey, I just burned through all of your episodes in 2 days. Can you guys make some more? I was like, we're on episode 45. Do you know how long it takes?
I'm like counting. When did you sleep?
That's a lot.
Slept the headphones in, just osmosis.
I'm honored. I don't even know how could you possibly digest 45 episodes worth of content in 2 days?
I don't know how you could even digest Milton's episode without going back and listening to it again to make sure you didn't miss anything.
Bro, I can't listen to it again because my brain will explode. Exactly. If you don't know what we're talking about, go listen to the last episode of last season with Milton Pike, Milton T. Pike. Insane. But today,
yeah,
of course, our special guest is indeed a special one. He is not your typical gamer. Gentleman. He's not your typical streamer or content creator. Really, he kind of represents the institution. He's the man, unfortunately. But we're going to hear a lot from him about a lot of things happening right now on Twitch. I'm kidding. It's none of that's true. He's a very nice guy. He's a very, very nice guy. We're joined by lawyer specializing in video game IP and entertainment law, Noah Downs, everybody, aka my lawyer friend.
What's up, guys?
Hey, there he is.
How are y'all doing?
Oh,
great. How are you?
So
I'm
good.
doing all right. I'm pretending like I didn't ask that to you like a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
just for the
so
podcast.
are we.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We just met. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi again. Yeah, no. So, I'm a lawyer guy, but I'm not like stuffy, like white-haired, like collared, all that jazz. Like,
Yeah. No.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a cool lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Cool
like
lawyer.
one of the bros. He's definitely not the man. I made that up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
No.
we want to stick it to the man.
That's what lawyers are
With
for,
the law.
for the most part.
With the
With
law.
the law.
Use the
Mhm.
man's law against the man. That's winning.
Gosh,
There you
so
go.
good. Yeah, I really appreciate you being on here because honestly, you asked how I was doing. I lied to you. I'm in a state of existential fear, wondering if my channel's gonna be shut down. So I'm really curious to know
Yeah,
what you have to say about
so many questions.
so many
my
questions.
God. That's
But let's
like
try
a
to be
lot- that's a lot of
orderly
weight
here,
for
'cause-
these shoulders.
Yeah.
Let's try to be orderly here a little bit though, because I know that we can go all over the place with this.
Yeah,
right? We can get
definitely.
going.
That's definitely all me. Well, no, let's get to know you a little bit. So how did you land on gaming and IP as your field of expertise within the law? You know,
Oh,
why didn't you go
man.
into environmental or, you know, oil? I don't know. What-
Oil. Or criminal defense is
Aren't
where
you-
people normally go.
Criminal
Or
defense,
criminal
or
defense, you know, the obvious
prosecution.
one.
Did you just say prosecution?
No, prosecution. Not. I think prosecution is the prosecution of prostitutes. I think it's a specific
It is.
subset of law.
I did that. I did that as an intern. So that's another story. Oh man, that's not safe for work here. Yeah, no. So I actually was a full-time actor before I was a lawyer.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So I went to Virginia Tech. Go Hokies.
nice.
And I got a theater degree and a political science degree, and was 21, didn't know what to do with my life, and said, I guess I'll apply to law school. So I did, and then on a whim, I got accepted to University of Richmond. Also, Richmond's amazing, best city in the entire nation, Richmond, Virginia.
I thought you were gonna say the Union.
Oh yeah, the Union
Yeah,
as well.
the
The
Union,
best
yeah.
city of the Union. But and so I, as I was there, I realized, hey, I can really stay close to acting and stay close to performance and what I really love by going into intellectual property law. And so I studied IP, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, patents, etc. Got out of law school and was a 24-year-old lawyer and didn't know what to do, how to get started. Worked at a boutique like trademark firm for about 11 months, filed more trademarks for cabinet styles than you can imagine.
Excuse me.
Yeah, our biggest client was this company that makes cabinet doors, and they have so many different names for these cabinet doors, and apparently it's like a cutthroat industry, like the cabinetry industry, for
What the
naming
hell?
what do you name these cabinet doors? It was bizarre. And
Awful.
I left that and started off and said, "Hey, I know a lot of content creators. Let's just start representing them." And here I am today, gaming law thing.
That's amazing.
It's
You
all
were
right.
like, forget these cabinets. It's all about gaming IP.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing
Yeah.
is, I got in when before there was many people. Started back in 2015, really took off in 2016.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I work the law firm of Morrison Rothman LLP, with Ryan Morrison, the video game attorney. So
Wow.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this: did you see lack of representation? Like you're like, okay, people. This is only gonna become more and more important that people in this industry start to have more and more informed representation, and there could be a
yeah.
real opportunity here. Was that did that factor into the decision?
Well, actually, yeah. So what had happened was I got in and realized there was like no lawyers in the space that were actually representing content creators. Everybody's representing, the organizations. Everybody's representing the agencies, and the brands involved. Shout out to Manscaped. Yeah. Um,
You're
and there you go, on brand. But nobody was actually representing the content creators, and so people were signing these really vicious contracts and getting sued, and it was just
Mhm.
a whole mess. And so I stepped in and said, let's figure this out. And the practice has grown, and that's where the my lawyer friend brand came, because people kept saying, hey, this is my lawyer friend. So I was like, oh, that's a great Twitter handle.
That's a phenomenal Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Really good for branding, honestly. I'm a little jealous.
It was amazing. And in fact, one of my first clients in the space was a company that I'm going to try not to talk too much about today, because I can go off forever, called Pretzel Rocks, which is a music streaming service for gamers.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting. Oh, wait, I think I've seen. Do they have an extension?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I've seen that extension. That's been around for a bit.
It has been, and it's blown up in the last 2 weeks.
I'm sure.
Oh, wow.
it has.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to I already had, thankfully, my editor for YouTube, who likes to take a lot of credit for things, told me about like 2 years ago to get a license for like Monster Cat, just to have like for the YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And really glad I have that, because it protected me for a lot of videos. And then also now I can just stream their songs,
Mhm.
and they're relatively well known in the gaming space.
Yep.
Like Pretzel in a way. So like a lot of people know the music that they play. So like, oh, this is a banger. Like I know this song. So it still
Mhm.
has a little bit of familiarity, which I feel like is a small nuance of playing music on your channel, right? It's like
Mhm.
it's cool to hear like a brand new song every now and then, but people are like, hey, I heard this song. I like
I
this
like the
song.
stuff I like, man.
This is nice. Yeah, I like what I like. Exactly. So anyway, it was a really good idea. I'm glad I still have it, and it's proved to be really invaluable the past
Yeah,
couple weeks.
Monster Cat does incredible stuff. In fact, I remember the party that Monster Cat threw at PAX East 2017 was the first time I met Darlington, who's like their CEO president guy.
Oh wow.
That guy knows how to throw a party, by the way. Um, like holy crap.
Tell
and
us about it. Yeah.
they oh my god. So he doesn't know this. I snuck into the VIP. And it was my first PAX. I snuck into the VIP where like all the
Yeah.
drinks were free, and I'm with all the pretzel guys like on the DL.
Mhm.
And like half of them are artists as well. And so we just were like wandering around. Somebody said, "There's Darlington," and then we just went over and started picking his brain about like music and Twitch and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then somebody said, "There's Anthony Kong fan," and I walked over, and one of my best friends in the space, he's a full-time partner. He was looking at Anthony Kong fan and said, "That's a beautiful man," and that's as much as I remember from that party.
He is a beautiful
Rest is
man.
a blur. He
Yeah.
is. He is.
And he
He's
has
a
an
great.
incredibly comfortable looking gaming chair.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah.
He's a veritable throne.
Dude, can you imagine the farts he's deposited in that thing? I mean,
No.
it's gotta be like
The heat, though, we've talked about this a lot, dude. The mesh
Like-
bottom is just like I'm never gonna sit in another chair again.
Yeah.
oh,
ever.
absolutely. This is
Yeah.
the best. I love this chair. Yeah. It's fantastic. Lovely producer PM chime in there. Fantastic.
There you
Love
go.
that.
Thanks,
Yes.
PM.
Thanks,
Hey,
PM.
PM.
That's incredible. I love that story.
Yeah.
Anthony
that-
is a beautiful man inside and out. He's a great dude.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no, it was Monster Cat. You can't go wrong with them, and also, you know, they've gotten the stamp of approval from Twitch too. So,
True.
you're good to use them. There you go. Your channel's saved. End of episode. I'll leave.
Thank
Well,
you. I mean,
There's a bunch of resources which we will, I mean, continue to get into.
Yeah.
You know, we have a nice little block set out in the old middle of the show
Sick.
to really
Mhm.
break down a lot of this stuff. But you know, we got the really important stuff now too. Like,
Yeah, super
what's your favorite
important.
fast food?
whoa. Fastest he's
favorite
ever asked
fast
that
food?
question in his
Whoa!
life. That was
Hey,
the
you like fast
fastest.
food? What's your favorite?
You gave cheese like the whole episode to get there. And here you go.
Here we go. We got really important stuff to talk about this episode.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say it. I'm going out of here. I'm going on a limb here, guys. Fast food, not the most important this episode. I know.
What is my favorite fast food? Jiminy Christmas. I'd say it's probably. I had Five Guys last night.
Paul loves Five Guys.
Really?
Yes. he
Cool. I
does.
didn't cheat.
love
I actually
to
didn't know
see it.
that.
Absolutely. Oh my!
Dude.
Finally, it's taken 45 episodes to finally get someone to admit that Five Guys is phenomenal.
Cool. I'll come
Oh
on
my-
as many times as you want just for that. Like you can use that as an alert. Five
Oh
Guys.
my
Good.
gosh,
I mean, they do
Thank you.
use
I'm-
peanut oil, which is better, you know. for you.
bro! You're the bro. No, I'm gonna hire you to like look at my tweets and make sure there's nothing legally liable in those things. I mean,
Sounds
I'm gonna
good.
try everything.
Yep.
Huh.
No, dude. Last
Emails
night.
I send.
That sounds cheap.
So.
That sounds affordable, Paul.
That sounds really horrible. Hey, I'm sending this tweet out. Is this good? Is it good?
He's
Okay, cool.
immediately laughing. He's like, "It's not. It really isn't."
No, for most lawyers it's not, but then you can call me your lawyer friend.
Hey,
But yeah, no, like, dude, last night that I got a burger. It was double patty because I'd gone and like worked. I'd split a lot of wood yesterday. And
the euphemism, or did you actually split? a lot
no,
of-
like actually, I took down
Okay.
8 trees around my house, and I got to split them up for winter. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's cool.
Andy.
Yeah, my wife enjoys it. I guess a double patty with grilled mushrooms, grilled onions, grilled jalapenos, and A1 sauce.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't finish it.
There's no way you could. That's a stacked burger. That is
Yeah.
nuts.
My wife came in
Oh.
and ate all the fries. So
Oh, the fries. I love that they're like they have a container for the fries, but they're usually just like "F it." Like I'm just gonna we're gonna dump the fries in there and then just like spill out into the bag. Like the bag is half of the fries you
no,
get.
they put the container in, they drop it, and then they just pour the rest of the scoop on top of
just
it.
go to town. And then like the bag, like you pick up the bag and you have to use 2 hands from the bottom, like wearing
Mhm.
gloves because it's just like dripping.
Oh yeah.
And it makes you
forbid
hate
you
to be
get-
alive, but also makes you feel alive.
It makes you feel so
God
good.
forbid you get Cajun fries too. Now there's Cajun seasoning on everything, and that'll stain your shirt.
That,
Gosh.
that's
That'll
all over your shirt.
stain your shirt.
Bro, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Okay. And Five Guys gives me the good time I need when I want a burger. Okay.
That's
If I want
tough.
a long, nice cuisine, I'll go to like a nice, fancy boutique burger place. But no. If I'm looking for that just grease factory, just flavor town, grilled everything, the cheese. Oh my God.
That raw, like ravenous, like
Mm.
I'm gonna hate myself
Yeah.
tomorrow kind of thing.
Make you feel like a real American when you're
Yeah.
done eating it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never felt more patriotic than when I had a burger.
America.
And voting. Go vote.
Remember to vote. Yeah.
Remember to vote.
Remember that. Thank you, please.
Nice. That really worked out really well. All right, Noah. So you are obviously in gaming IP, but are you one of us? What is your favorite game or games of all time?
I have a custom BioShock art right here. Actually, BioShock,
Wow.
the original, is one of my favorite games of all time.
Wow, BioShock 1, the first one.
Yeah, BioShock 1.
Wow.
And closely
respect
followed
it.
by Witcher 3.
Ooh.
okay.
And then
Big
my
RPG
favorite,
guy.
yeah, dude. My favorite, like, I just need to destroy some things game
Uh-huh.
is any of the Halos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that. That's good. It's a very Halo. We recently played that. Why did we play that? That was it was like a tournament. It was like a Bud Light tournament, not a
Oh.
sponsor. Which is very fun. With we talked about earlier, Jordan Fisher, one of our favorite people.
Yep.
He was on there. He teabagged me, by the way. Side note, not related. Anyway, the point is,
Didn't you play with Anthony in that?
I did. Yeah, that's where I really played the
Whoa.
most with Anthony, and he's awesome.
Dude,
Like
the
we said
guy's cool.
earlier.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy. He was just jacking me up the whole time. He was like, "Let's go, Paul!" Like, no matter what I did, I could have got like an assist. And he was like, "Let's go!" Thank you. So, but yeah. Anyway, Halo. I forgot how awesome that game is. I really have not
Right?
played it in years, and it's a
Mhm.
great game.
It's a great
Dude,
game.
like,
Simple.
and you see all these esports teams right now, and I don't have any insider knowledge on this. Just want to make sure I throw that out there.
Mhm.
All these esports teams signing Halo players, like the best in the world, to new teams. Right now, you got your weekend tournaments, which like the max prize is like 5K, which, you know, it's not small, but it's not enough to go off and sign these massive teams. I think they're going to drop the Halo 6 Halo Infinite multiplayer before the end of the year.
You think so?
I think they will.
Ooh,
Just because
prediction. Heard it here
Well,
first.
those people would know, and
Yeah.
they have the resources to sign those people. So, I mean,
That's a good point.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, you got to follow the money, right? I mean, that's what I feel like where it comes down to. If they're going to spend that much money on those players, then I would
Salaries,
assume
everything.
something's happening. Like, that's just going to
Yeah.
throw money away because you like, whatever so and so player. I don't know any of the Halo pros. I can't speak to it,
That's
but-
cool. Most of them are also COD pros because
Oh,
skills
sure.
transfer.
Yeah.
The only Halo pro I know is Ninja.
Hey,
Yeah, they're
he's
all
live
old.
right now playing Valorant.
Wow.
Wow.
Another competitive game.
Wow, incredible.
That's
Hashtag
incredibly surprising.
Esports.
Esports. That's very interesting. Okay, so you're thinking Halo 6 prediction. It's going to happen. PM tweeted out. I want to be on top of this. I want to be one of the first to know.
You heard
or
it
to
here
predict this. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
heard it
put
here
it down in
first.
the notes. I'm gonna create the
Yeah.
video. I'll put it out after this.
Yeah.
Could really use the clout. Legal expert predicts Halo 6 multiplayer coming soon. Like,
Wait,
Breaking
wait.
oh yeah.
But
Can't
no
wait to
insider
get on
info.
Deserto.
I have to put that in bold. No insider information. I can't get into
None.
trouble.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
I
won't
mean, I
reveal
can't
our
get me in
source,
trouble.
but it's Noah Downs. Yeah.
Well, if anyone was going to protect themselves from getting in trouble, it's Noah. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to come after me?
Bring it.
Uh,
I'm a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer." And they're like, "Whoa." Speaking of being a lawyer, we created the podcast to shed light on we have a lot of content creators here on the show. We talk about their paths to becoming full time or wherever they are in their career, how far they've gotten, and like really trying to figure out what they did right, what they did wrong, and kind of getting that information for people who might be listening, who might be also want to follow the path. It's become such a big such a big market in the past, at least the past couple of years, where people are like just giving streaming a shot that have never thought about it before, even.
Especially
So
since the pandemic.
Yeah.
And since the pandemic too, everyone's like, oh, well, I can do a Zoom call, I can stream on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and
Same thing.
Those are the
and
same.
so, and now that we're seeing with the current DMCA, I'll call it a DMCA crisis on
DMCA
Twitch,
apocalypse.
the DMCA apocalypse.
DMC apocalypse.
What without getting in too much in depth and like because we would like people to reach out for your services in an official manner, but what are some areas that you think creators, let's say like a creator or a professional player is just about to either sign with an agency or or like sign with a esports organization or sign with a team or whatever it is, or they're about to sign their first sponsorship deal, and
Mhm.
before they obviously look for legal counsel on it, because legal counsel should look at your contracts, guys, before you sign them. You should. What are things that they should be thinking about protecting themselves? Like, what are some areas that you can very easily just be aware of before you go through that process? So some people are like, okay, I'm gonna do this the right way, this is where I start.
Yeah. So first of all, quick disclaimer because my bar license requires it.
Mhm.
Everything I'm about to say is for informational purposes only. This is not specific legal advice. Your circumstance will almost always be different. Therefore, this is not an attorney-client relationship. I offer free consults if you would like to hire me. TLDR, don't try this legal advice at home. Go to a friend's house. So
This is great.
there you go.
Love
Have
that.
memorized. So basically, when you start looking at contracts for your content license agreement with Twitch, your affiliate agreement, if that's where you're starting, any branded content, all the stuff you just described, you want to be looking at your likeness provisions, because as a creator, people come to you for your personality, for what you put out there, for your content. They don't tune in for anything else. It's and you build a brand, you build a personality through that. So you want to make sure that you're not signing your life away, or the ability for somebody to control your face, your voice, your brand, your trademarks, your logos, everything. Um, for a very long amount of time that you can't get out of. Now, you'll have to give up some of those rights as part of that, because people are paying you for things. Um, but you want to make sure you retain ownership of what you do. You want to retain ownership of your face, of your likeness, of your content, and you're licensing it out to people. It's not like,
Hmm.
it's not as though somebody's coming in and buying a loaf of bread and that bread has your face on it. What they're coming in and saying, you're going to create this content for me. It is a service agreement, it's not a product agreement. So keep that in mind. That's one of the easiest things.
Hmm.
I've seen people sign away some of the worst things possible. I had somebody sign away for in perpetuity, which is the rest of time,
Forever.
Oh.
literally. Like, sun collapses, the world ends, still the rights are gone.
Holy crap.
Yeah, signed away the right to their likeness. That's their face, their voice, their name, their biographical info, their channel's trademarks, copyrights, any content made on the channel during that 2-hour period for that sponsored time. All of that.
What?
I've had brands actually use those rights to, and this has only happened twice, but I've had brands use those rights to make the content creator in an endorsement say something they didn't mean to say. The worst,
Yikes.
yeah. So think of it this way: you sign a contract and you don't review your likeness rights, your voice,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, some company's making you go and say "Hail Satan" or something like that.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. That stuff's it keeps me up at night. Because
Dang.
once you sign that stuff away, it is so hard for me to get that back for you.
Bro, that is interesting. So I like whenever I look over my contracts, like what little I know, and honestly, it does seem like a lot of common sense, but the way things are worded, obviously you guys are trained to see this stuff,
Yeah.
is very misleading,
hmm
or can be misleading. And there's a whole section, I feel like it's like I usually refer to it as like the don't be an idiot section
hmm
of the contract, where it's just like, hey, while we're in agreement, don't defame the name of the brand. Don't be a racist. Don't be a
Don't
jackass.
do
Like
bad things.
exactly. Like just don't be an idiot. Which is like okay, like that's pretty obvious. Like I won't do that stuff. But I know they have to say it. I never think about like the other side of that coin, which is like don't use me to say racist stuff. Don't use me to say that. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing on my end that's like, hey, don't do
Protects you.
this to me.
Yeah, keep in mind, like, you are tying yourself to a brand as much as they're tying themselves to you. For
Mhm.
example, if you look at it, and also that's not just for brands. That's for like management companies and agencies. If a management company or agency suddenly blows up and you find out like, oh hey, the dude running this company is a massive racist, then if you have their email in your bio, that's going to splash back on you.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's bad news bears. And so you just got to be completely aware of companies have to have morals too, not just the
Mhm.
people that they're hiring. And that brings me to the second part of the generalized informational advice that I'm giving. I had to insert that there.
It's
Um,
perfect. It's perfect.
Do what you need
is
to do.
do
Sounds
not
good.
be afraid to redline something or have a lawyer redline something. Um,
You define what is red line?
so red line is when you
Change.
go through and it goes back to an old legal term thing. It's a technical term where you take a red pen
Mhm.
and you mark up a document as much as possible saying this is awful, change this here, you missed a capitalization, that kind of thing. So we call those red lines. Anytime I make an edit to a document and send it back to somebody else, that's me making a red line.
Okay.
And so when I'm redlining something, the opposing side, the side that sent that to you, if they're professional, expects to get that back. They expect to get comments back. There is no matter how new you are to streaming, and I don't say how small you are of a streamer. I say how new you are,
Mhm.
because everybody's got potential. It's just a matter of reaching it. Um,
Mm.
and no matter how new you are to streaming, it is you should not be signing something that like even like Lupo wouldn't sign. So
Mhm.
um, you have rights as a person as well. You have rights in your brand, and no opportunity is worth those rights.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, ever, because then you find yourself in a situation where you all of a sudden you get front page of Reddit, and then your stream blows up. You get massive hype trains, and you're still locked into month 8 of that 12-month contract,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
under those bad terms. So always do not ever be afraid to send notes back on a contract, especially legal notes.
Interesting. Really quick, because I know we want to hit a bunch of different points, but this has just
Sure.
been kind of in my brain for a bit. And Trevor, forgive me. But what would you say generally to like the streamer that's maybe they are new, like you're saying, they've hit a certain potential where they can make some sort of living off of it and it's going well, and you have this desire, and I felt this when I first started and was able to like, oh wow, like this is equaling what I'm making at work. Like this is pretty wild. I can kind of live off this. You have this desire to not lose that then. So if
Right.
you've like left your job and you go full time, which a lot of our content creators have, you put all of your eggs in this basket. How do you and someone gives you a contract like, hey, this is the contract, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's just a bad contract. How do you not take it though? Because you know what I mean? Like, there's that I need to live, and this is really bad. Will something else come? Like,
Yeah, and that is one of that's when you call up your lawyer, and lawyers are also called counselors, and it's for
oh,
this kind of thing, because obviously I'm not giving emotional advice, but I'm giving you counsel, and if you have that contract that comes in, say it's I don't want to like bork a sponsor for you. So let me hold on one sec. Let's say it's Acme, and Acme comes in and says, I want all these rights. And I'm gonna pay you $20,000. That'll pay your rent for X amount of months. Um, sign it or else.
mhm.
It is not worth it, because you got that opportunity for a reason. And Acme's offering that to you. And sure, it might feel like that's your big break,
Yeah.
but because you got that, that means there's someone else too. You don't just
Mm,
randomly have people reach out, out of the blue. It's because there's something inherent about you that brands want, and your brand has value. And so it is okay to say, nah, fam, I'm out,
mhm.
because there's definitely somebody else. And at that point, that's when you really should be looking at agency work, like getting an agent, getting a lawyer, getting somebody that can represent you, and and an agent will be able to go out and say, hey, Acme was interested. I wonder if G Fuel would be, or something like that.
Mhm.
So that's when you reach out and say, hey, I've got something here. It's actually a really
Cool.
good sign.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I think
Yeah,
that's
think
super
about it that way.
helpful.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to paraphrase a little bit, even with the beginning. When you talked about kind of what you're looking at when you're looking to maybe sign your first whatever it is in the content creation, like Paul said, like you just made the decision to go full time. Maybe that lines up really well, and just to kind of just make sure that everyone is understanding. It's almost like look at the things you're being asked to do, and then make sure that you're maintaining your rights to it and not ever giving anything in perpetuity. I mean, that seems obvious, but
Hmm.
Mhm.
again, you only have to be 13 to stream. So
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
There's everyone's not a 30-year-old who had a bunch of life experience before this with legal matters. So
Well,
so
True.
and you don't even know what perpetuity means sometimes. So it's important to like s- think of almost like time limits,
yeah.
right? Like
And
and if you're projecting yourself to be somewhere, factor that
Mhm.
in. There's no
Yeah.
problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I always tell people, this isn't even just legal advice. This is life advice. Begin with the end in mind. Know where
Yeah,
you're going to be.
yeah.
Have an exit plan in case things go sideways.
Wow.
And that's where,
Hot
that's
dog.
where this comes in, or this where this role, this advice comes in. Is it's very, because I've heard it a lot, kind of just in casual conversation. I've been asked in DMs, just like, oh, how do I handle, like, even from a baseball standpoint, people will be like, oh, I don't have an agent yet. I'm looking for an agent. Like, how did you do that? And I was like,
Mhm.
that's another thing, like, because
Hmm.
if you sign with an agent in baseball, for example, you could have that agent for your entire career,
Yep.
and they're banking on you getting to a free or signing a big contract and then them getting a percentage of it.
Yeah.
And so, what that percentage is really important,
Hmm.
more so than maybe the time limit that you're with them. So, like as that stuff changes, you just have to fully understand what it means. And I think what Noah's saying here is try to have get as big of an understanding of what it means. And if you're doing, because sometimes people, like, it's a pretty simple thing and you feel like you can negotiate it yourself, but as long as you have a full, I would highly recommend you always have someone who really knows, someone like Noah, help. But
Mhm.
just make sure you have a full understanding of what it all means. Like we've seen content creators getting burned left, right, and center by esports organizations where they wanted to get out. They grew too, like you said, they grew too fast in year two
Yep.
of their 2-year contract. They had 6 months left, and then they tried to just like peace, and you can't just peace. There's like legal there's a lot of legal action to be taken that will hurt you past those 6 months. So it's almost like if you just stick it out, you'll be better in the long run. And they just didn't know that because they don't really know how their contracts worked in the first place. So but if you have all that information going in, you usually have a much better symbiotic relationship with the person that you're signing the contract with anyways, and they're usually
Exactly.
more willing to work with you, especially if things change. There are a lot of companies out there, they're like, yeah, that will do good faith in order to continue to keep you as keep their connection with you because they like the relationship. Those
Yep.
things
Yeah.
exist. They're
Yeah.
everywhere. So like just know that like everyone's not out try to like try to be the winner. Like every relationship isn't a winner and loser.
Right.
So
You can both win.
exactly. And those opportunities are, if you do correctly, those opportunities are everywhere. Like in the vast majority of contracts you sign, that is the goal on
Yeah.
both sides. So
My
just
my
don't think of it the other way. Think
yeah.
of it as you're trying to make it good for both sides.
My clients that are signing exclusive deals with Twitch right now, for example, that's a win-win. That's
Mhm.
where everybody's winning, but those contracts
Mhm.
still need to be viewed.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you still need to make sure that everybody is on the right side. For example, even like between, and we'll maybe get into this later, but like when you have two owners of a company, um, you need a contract between them. Even if you've been best friends since you were 5, contracts save friendships.
Mm.
Because if you can say, this is what the contract says, I get to make this decision, then you've both agreed to it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no mediator needed. Look at the
Yeah.
paper. Look at the paper. Like, dang
What's
it.
written
All right,
down?
you win, dude. Yeah, you win.
Yeah.
We're
I'll
all
tell you,
winning
one of my
too.
favorite things to sneak into a contract is there's something called a force majeure clause in a contract. You don't need to know what that means. It's French. Um, and
What do you
but what
put
is
French in quotes? And like French isn't
it's
real. It's not
it's
a real
French.
language. It's in French.
It's in French.
You know.
So but because it's like American French. But it says, in the event that there's an act of God that prevents one of us from executing our responsibilities under this contract, and it lists all the potential acts of God. Pandemic is one of the ones I started putting in 5 years ago. And it's been super useful this year. But what's concerning is last year I started putting in zombie apocalypse. And so
You did not put that in contracts.
dude, I put zombie apocalypse in a contract today, dude.
What? Does that
Yeah.
not somehow really
Nope.
quick, does like the act of fantasy not somehow invalidate the contract? Like a dragon burns down your house. Like what is that?
Now you
That
can put it
means
in
that
there.
if a dragon burns down your house, you're good. It's taken care of.
That's incredible.
But here's what I do is I sneak it in there because I translated zombie apocalypse into Latin so that most lawyers just like, oh, it's a Latin phrase, it's probably fine. And so what I put in is Homo resurrectus, the resurrection of man. So it's fun.
I feel like that would draw more red flags than if you just said zombie apocalypse. They'd be like, what the heck is that?
That's hilarious.
Outstanding. Well, Noah, it's hard to segue off of that. I don't even. It's just gotta
Just
yell
yell
segue.
segue like you did last week.
Segue. So Noah, what role do you see social media, or would you use social media to expand business, like your business, or inform your community? Like, what role do you see social media playing in the life of a content creator or entertainer, specifically content creator?
Yeah,
in this case.
your social media is your way to diversify your audience because in a world where platforms come and go, as we've
Mhm.
seen in the recent wake of Mixer.
Oof. R.I.P.
Yeah, rip Mixer. Man, that was one of the most hectic Sundays of my life, and I can't
Bro.
talk about it.
We
Um,
all. I mean, let's be honest. We all saw it coming.
Yeah,
We all
did.
were like,
Did we?
Except for the Mixer employees.
except for not to be like rude to anyone that was on Mixer and got like, obviously that was very devastating for a lot of people.
Mhm.
I'm saying more so the fact that like Microsoft historically abandons
do that.
projects
Yeah,
like
they do.
in the
Huge
middle of a project. They're like, yeah, nah.
Hey, remember
Facebook,
the Dune?
you want this?
They put freaking $1 billion into R&D, and they're just like, nah, it's not gonna work.
The
Not
Zune,
family.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway,
dude.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was
No,
like,
no,
eh.
you're good. So yeah, like in the wake of platforms coming and going, Mixer shutting down, Papa Purple potentially looking at music as a big problem. If you say it, then they'll find the podcast. I don't want to get kicked off the platform.
Mhm.
And then if you need to make sure that you are on social media so that you can diversify your audience, drag your audience so that they're following you, not because you're on Twitch, not because you're on Facebook Gaming, not
Yeah.
because any of that, because they're following you. That's something that I've seen you guys actually do pretty well. In my prep for the thing today,
Yeah.
you're on a lot of different social media and you create content that's universal. And that's something that I admire Tim the Tatman for doing too, because he'll log on and he'll say, "Follow me all of these places," and that's just his
Mhm.
message. And it makes the audience follow you, and that's valuable. That is so valuable because that's what gets you an exclusive deal with Twitch. That's what gets you an exclusive deal on YouTube. So, um, I would highly recommend making sure that you use social media to make your followers yours and not just people that randomly clicked you on your follow channels.
Interesting. That's good to be reaffirmed in that, because I feel like we've come to that conclusion throughout the episodes of this podcast to a point of YouTube specifically. I think,
Mhm.
Trevor, if like we come back to this like all the time, it's like YouTube is going to drive a lot. It's just got a very huge audience, especially for content creation. Like Twitter is great, Instagram is fine, but you're kind of slaves to those algorithms, and YouTube's really kind of nailed the algorithm and has kept it seemingly the same.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to like pay to get your video higher in recommended lists. It's just like it is there. It's not like Instagram is like, yeah, cool, just kick us $100. No,
I'll say, like, there's one guy that I know that has figured. I feel like he's figured YouTube out. Basically, I do work with Marcel, our
dude,
buddy.
Marcel has that
Um,
thing down
Oh my god!
Him and his crew, bro, they got
like a
it.
science.
Yeah, like that guy
Exhausting.
knows his stuff.
Yes.
One of the people I've had the pleasure of working with every day this week. But not because he's getting arrested or anything, just because he's a friend.
Marcel gets arrested. Clickbait.
No,
Yes!
no.
We did it! We did it!
He was just trying to
did
get
it!
the castle.
Uh,
Like he's got that down. I talked to him about YouTube's algorithm, and I learned stuff. Like it's amazing.
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he just said a couple weeks ago, I think I played Among Us with him, and someone was like, "Hey Marcel, like how's it going?" And he's like, "Honestly, great." And they're like, "Oh, why? Like what's going on?" He's like, "It's castle building season."
Mhm.
It's like,
Oh,
"Oh, is it?"
we're,
Mm.
It's like, "Oh
dude,
yeah,
we're
And Rev.
the hockey stick has begun, right? The viewership hockey stick.
oh yeah."
Usually around Halloween and just keeps going until the new
Like,
year.
New Year, yeah, absolutely.
Marcel has some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. One of which I can see in my vision, but I can't talk about it.
Nice bait.
Afterwards.
I
I'll talk
love
to you
very
guys
Secret
cool.
League. It's my
afterwards.
favorite.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
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 Diversify. I like that.
Yeah,
And actually currently right now, and this is just a hot top. What's hot? TikTok, dude. TikTok to Twitch is like that connection is really, really, really good right now. I understand that creating TikTok accounts now, I don't think you can do it in the United States. Can you make accounts anymore? Or is
I
it just
don't
who's on there?
know.
That's part of like the first like rolling it down because for whatever reason we all hate TikTok now.
You
Yeah,
should be
I
able to
definitely
do
wasn't
that
watching
still.
TikTok before this.
Oh, I watch it
Oh.
all the time, but like a lot of Gubba's the one we use, for example, Gubba TV. She has absolutely exploded
Bro,
with
mind
her
blown.
Fortnite
Wow.
clips, and so
Yeah.
the short form live streaming kind of tailored stuff for TikTok is really good because it's 30 seconds and it's usually usually tells a story in 30 seconds, and the way that algorithm works is you got to watch it to the end. So if you watch it
Yeah.
to the end, it gets a ton of points. It gets moved up into the ranking. Like that's the number one thing they look for if you end up watching the entire thing.
Mhm.
So and because it's usually less than a minute, it's easier to do that. So if you have a good clip, then that's a great place to do it. Anyway, that is a place that people, if you have a stream that you have a new thing that you're doing on stream and people may not know about, like that's a place you should be probably posting. Now I'm probably shooting myself in the foot by telling way more people to go do that, but that's not what it's for. It's for you guys. So
Yeah.
They should
go do
look
that.
at yours as an example. Make sure they
Yeah, go look at
follow
mine.
and
I need
hit the heart, hit the share.
way more of everything on there.
200 IQ.
Yeah. All I've
but
got
yes,
is a video of my cat. So
same. That one didn't. Mine didn't hit. She's
No.
retired. She's not going on TikTok anymore.
She's actually behind you. For those who are watching on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
I show her face. Their giant face.
My on
Very
live
weird.
streams, my mods have started putting like, because I have like that the overlays they can edit in real time. They're like putting a tongue on her, so it's coming out, and then putting her mouth open, and then they keep changing her face like in real time, and it's
That's
hilarious.
terrifying.
I looked over and she had her mouth open like she was growling at me. I was like, oh, and the way her face is in it, she's like looking up at you. It's like every mouth you give her is hilarious.
That's
So.
crazy.
That was a big head that she was in the stands during the season this year in Target Field.
Oh, really? That's
So
awesome.
she was on a seat by herself, so they sent us the fat head, and I'm just gonna keep it in the back.
That's
it forever.
amazing.
Yeah, you keep that forever.
Cat got to watch you play.
Yeah,
Yeah, got to watch.
she did.
Like she cares about you.
Every time
Yeah.
I came in after the game,
Yeah.
I was like, "Love you."
Not the family or anything, just cat.
Just her. Well, my wife's face was also next to the cat, so I was like, "You too."
So which one did you point at? Oh, you too. Oh no.
You too.
I look at the cat and I'm like, "Ah, Kate, you're cool too."
Oh God. Well, you might
Anyway,
be a lawyer soon.
There you go.
Speaking of cat fur, it was pretty good. It's not bad. Look at
Yeah,
that.
okay.
We got a new
I can't wait.
new read. I'm
Can't
actually
wait
really
for it.
excited for this one. All right, I'm gonna hit you guys with a little like poetry, I think. Okay. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What is the best brand for my balls? Manscaped, of course. Hold up. Is that a nose pube? Who calls them nose pubes? No. Please never call them. Good thing our partners at Manscaped are here to ensure you're taking care of your manhood and your nose hairs with their new performance package. I really can't get over the nose pubes. I don't know.
Nose pube. They went with
Yeah,
nose
yeah.
pube in a professional
Oh yeah.
ad read.
So everyone, I mean, I hit 30 this year, and let me tell you, I don't know what your body decides, but it's like once you hit 30, it's like we need hair in the ears, right? Like this has been a problem for 30 years, and we can finally grow. So I have like two that just pop out like once every now and then, every like couple weeks.
Yeah.
Personally, pluck those guys.
I get just a nose hair. One.
The single, yeah, just
and where it grows from is inside of my brain. So it takes 6 weeks. Takes 6 weeks to go all the way down, and then like the end, Kate's like, I think the long one's back, and I'll pull it, and it'll be like 3 inches long. I'm like, what? Where is this thing coming from? Anyway, but now I'm gonna shave it.
Stop that. Anyway, the Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Included in the new package is the Weed Whacker ear, nose, hair trimmer, which is waterproof and uses a 9,000. It's not over 9,000. Just want to say it. 9,000 RPM motor powered by 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This thing is insane. They just keep making blades over there, like Blade. This nose and ear trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks and snags and tugs in those delicate holes. Yikes. Look, fellas, 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. Why not use the best tool for the job here? Also, it's slightly concerning because they're already together. They're a partner, and they just haven't told their significant other that like that nose hair bugs.
The whole line
That's a
thing
different
probably be your problem. But
yeah, you
we'll
probably
go
deal
there.
with the relationship communication at that level. Anyway, this bundle includes a Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body. Time to turn that gooch into Gucci with Manscaped. Let's also not forget their famous liquid formulations, the crop preserver, the ball deodorant, crop reviver, ball toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Get the performance package now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped boxers, which I wear weekly, and the Shed travel bag, which I would use if it wasn't currently a pandemic keeping me at home. Also, you'll receive a replaceable blade every 3 months to keep your weed whacking and lawn mowing time clean and enjoyable. The perfect package is the best value Manscaped has to offer. Get 20% off and free shipping with code MCA at manscaped.com. That is code MCA at manscaped.com for 20% off your entire order and free shipping. Thank you, Manscaped, for making our holes look sexy.
Oh no. Who
Take care of those pubes, everybody. Even the nose ones.
I'm crying with
Your
laughter
delicate
here.
holes. I can't wait to say that every chance I
Your
get. Delicate holes.
Gooch into Gucci.
What a time to be
I
alive.
feel like we just violated the terms of service. Give me a second.
Bro.
That's my job. Hold up.
I think we're good.
I'm
I'm
feverishly reading
confident
over a
we're all right.
contract. Like, can they say this, mother of God?
Oh God. Oh no. Oh God.
They say gooch?
I'm the gooch. We've
I'm-
said it 18 times now, so
True, gooch.
all right.
Love that.
Wow.
Hell of a new ad read. I like that one. That one's good.
Just say,
Yeah,
that
this is
was-
great. MCA, 20% off your order, guys. Come on.
What did you say,
That was-
PM?
just say it in Greek.
What? What am I saying in Greek?
Like all the ball stuff, like he said the zombie apocalypse. He put it in
Just
uh,
say it in
Latin?
Oh, Latin.
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
why did I say Greek? Yeah, Latin. Just say it in
I don't know.
Latin.
Greek
Yeah.
works too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Say it in Latin because
Yeah.
the lawyers will pick up on that.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'm not sure if you know this, but Latin's actually a dead language. So
You
Says
know,
you.
I got
Yeah,
back
we
from
use it
vacation.
so
I got
much.
the haze going on.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
yeah, this is actually a good segue to tell both of you guys. I actually brought Noah here today to discuss the terms of our contract for the podcast. So if you guys
Yep.
would just mind muting, we could probably talk about this.
Yeah, it's okay.
step
It's
in
like
my
3
office.
sentences, and it's probably really does need to be redone. so
Updated.
It's on a napkin.
It's-
Yeah.
Might as well be Google Doc, same thing.
was a cool
Yeah,
Google
I
Doc.
spilled some Bud Light Platinum on it. Not a
Right, at least-
sponsor.
Not a
at least
sponsor.
we got that high alcohol content. All right, well, it is now the fun part, right? I talked about the block of time we had in the
Mhm.
middle to get into kind of the hottest of topics for let's address this elephant that's sitting in the room. Okay, DMCA DMCA apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. The laws are a huge topic right now, especially on Twitch. With everyone deleting on their well, it's the second time we've actually done this, and it's almost as if we didn't take the first time that seriously, and then we
Actually,
or
a
we
third time.
or it's the third time. And the first time, it's almost as if we were trying to use all these third-party tools to delete everything off our site, and then if they didn't work, we just gave up. That's definitely not what I did. And then and then you're here wondering why can't I just select all and delete this on the website? That would be really helpful. Anyway,
God forbid you wrote program to help the people that currently are.
anyway.
Yeah.
Papa Purple, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So, first question. Let's first break this down, and I think you give us the best best answer we could probably get on it.
No pressure.
The DMCA laws, like, what are we looking at? What are they?
Do you
What are
know
they
what
for?
DMCA stands for?
I don't. Let's
All
tell
right,
the people.
cool. Let's start. Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Okay.
That's what it means. It's basically really old, and it doesn't.
Sounds old AF. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from October 1998. Actually, we just celebrated the 22-year anniversary of the DMCA being signed into law.
Yay!
Yay! Happy birthday! Don't sing a birthday song because that's copyrighted. So, so what is the DMCA? The DMCA is basically it's a compromise between the copyright holders. So that's that's musicians, that's artists, that's content creators like y'all and me occasionally, like once a year, um, and service providers. So the idea is that the internet as we know it wouldn't exist without the DMCA, because right now, think about it this way. Every website you interact with has user generated or user uploaded content. And because of that, it increases the likelihood that somebody is going to upload something they don't own the rights to. For example, if you go on, Google image search and you search for 1 million photos of things you probably shouldn't be searching for, then there's websites, adult ones, that want to protect that content because they have it behind a paywall. However, why don't those sites sue Google? Well, actually, they did. That's why I brought up that specific example. The adult entertainment industry sued Google for Google image search because they said that people didn't need to pay them. They could just Google the name of a star and find pictures of that person. Google was protected under the DMCA because they're a service provider. A service provider, someone that provides a service on the internet. Twitch is a service provider.
This is as opposed to a publisher, right? I feel like I've heard that before. Difference.
Yeah, it's.
Not to get you off track.
No, yeah, it's adjacent. It is adjacent. If we go into publishers, then we need 3 more hours. So
we don't have
so
that.
Basically, yeah, I know we don't have that. Somebody's got to play Among Us in 25 minutes. But so what happens is the service providers don't want to get sued, but at the same time they don't want to shut down their platforms. So the DMCA was born. It's a way for a copyright owner, somebody who owns a copyright, to notify a service provider, hey, you've got content that I own that I didn't allow you to have on your site. That simple. It is a way to find infringing content. What infringing means is it's stuff that you don't have the rights to use. So the way that the DMCA works, the takedown process, is copyright holder, person holding a copyright, sends a DMCA takedown notice to the service provider, Twitch, who then notifies the end user, hey, these people said that you uploaded their stuff. We're going to disable access to it. If you think that this was sent in error, let us know. We'll reinstate it. And then the copyright holders only recourse is to sue the person who uploaded it, saves the service provider. Do I need to go over any of that again?
No.
Oh, that makes
all
sense.
right, cool.
They can just hit rewind on the podcast and just listen to it as many times as
back 30 seconds. 30 seconds. If you're on an iPhone 12. So not sponsored.
So specific.
That's got a lot on the mind right now. So the DMCA in itself is not a bad thing. It's just old, and it doesn't understand modern technology, and so it's been abused in a lot of ways. The reason that we had this happened was because people have been using music in the background of their streams that they don't have the rights to use. And in many cases, the artist or the label that owns the rights and normally would get paid if that was played in a restaurant, if that was played live or something like that, they're not getting paid for those listens, those uses. And the argument they're making is that it is an infringing use. Under the exact letter of the law, that's true. Because if you're not paying for the rights to use it, you don't have a license to use it,
Mhm.
then it is infringing. And so these artists are mostly represented by a number of organizations, the most prominent of which is the RIAA, which is what you've heard a lot about. They're the ones that have
Mhm.
caused this crazy stir lately.
Yeah.
So in June, the RIAA turned on DMCA enforcement for 3 songs. And
Just 3.
just 3 songs.
They turned it on
And
like it was a switch on a wall. They were
a
like, you know what? This is time. We can.
literally no joke, they pressed a button and thousands, tens of thousands of DMCAs went like they were heat seeking torpedoes right at Twitch. And all of a sudden you saw all these creators getting temp bans because they had VODs or clips that had the songs in them in some form because they just been listening to their Spotify playlist. Which, by the way, you can't do that also because it's against Spotify's terms of service to use them as background music on Twitch. I digress. So,
Oh,
yeah.
would it?
Surprising?
Quick side note on that. What if you own the license to, like we were talking about earlier, Monster Cat?
So,
Is that a workaround, or?
this sounds very specific.
No, I'm just. I don't do it.
I
I'm
know.
just curious. Yeah.
So it's against Spotify's terms of service to use it to broadcast music, even if you have the rights to that music.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so you can't use that on
Okay.
Twitch.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So what happened was all these creators freaked out because they're like, what am I going to do? Is the music apocalypse coming? Because this actually happened to YouTube in 2012. Something called the Michelle Phan case, where there's a beauty and makeup artist named Michelle Phan who, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. I've never met her.
Mhm.
Who used music in the background of her beauty and makeup streams. She was really popular, and she got sued for millions of dollars. Because copyright infringement carries up to $150,000 per infringement
Infringement,
in
yeah.
statutory damages. So think if you're doing an 8-hour stream, how many songs go through an 8-hour stream?
That is
Yeah, that's why it's
insane.
a huge problem.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so the RIAA turned on enforcement, sent DMCAs to Twitch. Twitch had no choice but to comply, otherwise they would lose their protection under the DMCA, meaning that
Mhm.
they could get sued by the RIAA and its constituents immediately. And Twitch is not about to do that.
No, of course
Mhm.
not.
So it was a huge problem. Everybody said, well, delete your VODs, delete your clips, etc. And that's when people started to say, well, you're good if you only play it live because Twitch will catch the VODs and mute them, or you don't turn off your VODs.
Yeah, they did
turn
that.
off
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is there's a company called PEX, and I'm able to say this now. In June, I wasn't able to say it. There's a company called PEX, PEX, that is owned in part by Warner and Universal Music Group. They invested in it in 2018.
Mhm.
And PEX allows for live fingerprinting of music across the internet, live and past broadcast. PEX is what was used to find those 3 tracks in those tens of thousands of clips and VODs. And PEX
Yeah,
has the
it does,
ability.
really quickly, it's really
Yeah.
important. Does PEX count as a viewer? Because I'll allow it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It does.
There we go.
There you go.
They're a
But
bot, but yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah, totally. And so PEX is able to take down things live. They just haven't turned it on yet. So if we're
Nice.
playing
Kinda.
music right now, we could go down black screen if we're playing AC/DC. Don't play AC/DC live.
So do they then contact Twitch and Twitch takes us down, or did they go beyond Twitch and do it themselves?
So what happens is PEX identifies it and notifies its whoever said, hey PEX, go find this. The person who said it is the copyright holder. The copyright holder sends a takedown to Twitch under penalty of perjury, saying, "Here's my stuff. Here's their stuff. I own this. They don't, take it down."
Hmm.
Twitch gets that, is supposed to pass it on to you and allow you to respond and then have the content reinstated.
Hmm.
Here's the problem, and this is the most recent problem from last Tuesday. Um, Last Tuesday, what happened was we all the partners got emails. I'm assuming both of you got that as well,
Hmm.
um, saying, "Hey, we received a ton of DMCA notices. We haven't been enforcing them. By the way, we got rid of the content. Don't worry about it. Just know that by the 23rd, we're gonna flip the switch back on. So clear everything out."
Hmm.
Hence the panic.
Yeah.
Um, what had happened was they had received tens of thousands of DMCA notices starting in June, almost every week. And then they got another
Jeez.
round of them last Monday, and they said, "We got to do something," and they didn't comply with them.
So they have been getting these since June, and like just now we're like, we should probably take care of this.
Yeah, because they didn't want to show everybody getting deplatformed all of a sudden. um,
Yeah.
and so now they're back in live, so you can get a DMCA now, or you can get a strike now. Um, and that's extremely problematic the way they handled it, because on the one hand, Twitch didn't comply with the DMCA takedown, which means their safe harbors in jeopardy. Yeah,
Hmm.
their safety net. On the other hand, they didn't comply with it with regards to y'all either, because under the statute, they're supposed to give you the ability to respond and have the stuff
We didn't.
reinstated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah,
So
I mean, like with YouTube, we get DMCA notices, or at least I do on my channel, like every now and then.
yeah,
And some are legitimate, some are literally trolls. They're just
Mhm.
like, yeah, totally, I own this. And like, no, you freaking don't.
They're like,
Um,
"Dang it, got me," and they just go away.
oh
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, and I'm like, you don't own that, and they're like, touche, and they fade into darkness.
I see you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, YouTube's always like, hey, like, do you want to dispute this every time? And I'm like, frick, yes, I own that.
Yeah.
Where that's why I was so confused with the whole Twitch thing, because it was like, hey, take it down. You have no recourse. Like, why? Why do I?
Well, part of it is because Twitch doesn't have the ability to reinstate your VODs once they're deleted. They're perma deleted.
Yeah.
Mm,
You could write that in, but they haven't done it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Which is it's still crazy to think about how we still can't like mass delete on the site after 3 months of, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to do this in 3 months.
yeah.
and so that's what caused the DMCA apocalypse,
Okay.
because everybody said, all these artists realized, holy crap, I can make a ton of money
Yeah.
during a pandemic when I can't tour. It's just that I'm not being seen. I'm not getting that credited to me. I need to be compensated, which as content creators, we understand.
Hmm.
We want to get paid for our work. Um, and
Yeah.
so
It makes sense. 100%.
it's
Hmm.
it's not that the RIA is evil. It's just that they're bullish. Um,
Yeah.
and Twitch really needs to come to the table like Facebook did.
Mhm.
Facebook paid $1 billion for the rights.
Jeez.
Yeah. But you can stream that music on
In
Facebook.
perpetuity. Yeah. Just go for
Oh,
it.
and they're just good for the rest of time. Facebook is.
No, there is
No,
definitely a
not.
I
time
was gonna
limit.
say.
I meant like
Yeah.
it covers, like
Yeah.
they're good.
It covers the body of music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually
can
know
play
the
music.
term limits, but I can't say it because it's attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that stuff was publicly available or not, but that's
It
interesting.
is not.
Because I feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna like twist your arm or anything, but honestly, when you said $1 billion, I was kind of like, that's it. It was almost seemed low. I was like, what is that, like 6 months? Like it seems like
Yeah.
they're renting it. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be
Probably isn't the longest of terms.
a
Probably not.
couple $1 billion to get any type of substantial amount of
It could-
time, unless
my-
they just strong arm them or like, hey, we're freaking Facebook. Like, what are you gonna do? And they're like,
My
"Okay."
guess is, I bet you that's like it's probably along the lines of a stopgap until like some sort of like
Probably.
relationship starts to where,
Yeah.
like it's part of making music now is
Right.
then creating avenues for people to use it. Like, for example, here's an easy like, so the second part of this question was then going to start talking about solutions, right?
Mhm.
Like one of the things will be, they'll be like, this is a relationship that might could form later because of this, which it could all
Right.
work out to be a good thing, is
Mhm.
like, yes, you can play our music as long as, and then there's a service that makes it display on your stream. So it's like not even user side, it's Twitch side. So if you go live and music's playing and you're using something that is attached to Twitch, there's nothing you can't move it, or you can move it, but you can't take it off.
Forced
Mhm.
attribution. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so you're giving the
Credit.
recognition, the credit and you're giving them that's valuable the same way that we play games. Like
Mhm.
the guy from Stadia who's making the big horrible hot takes about how you have to buy the game and then also buy a license
Noah's
for the game.
familiar.
I actually I got a hot take on that one too. So,
Okay, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm going to be honest. From a legal standpoint, I understand where he's coming from, but there's way more nuance for that than when it comes
oh
like
yeah.
the music isn't central to streams like the game is. So
Right.
Yeah.
like the game, the value you're creating for the creator of the game is vastly larger than
Yeah.
you are for the person who made the music. Especially when people's like, "What song is this?" and then you just ignore them. Like
Yeah.
you didn't create any value at that point.
Hashtag song.
People are like downloading Shazam from 8 years ago and they're putting it against their headphones trying to figure out what song it was, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not
We actually
Uh,
use Shazam in the back end of a couple of my clients' labels to identify, make sure that the song that's been submitted by
That's amazing.
that's been submitted by somebody isn't already somewhere else.
for those of you who
Wow.
don't know, you can just literally ask Siri. She does it now. So like just
Really?
Yeah. Yes,
don't
it's
download
built in. I think
Shazam.
Siri
She's been able to
bought
beat Shazam for like 7 years.
I think
Apple
Siri-
bought Shazam.
Apple bought Shazam. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the
Siri bought
secret.
Shazam.
That's the
You actually
secret.
don't have to
I
get the
learned
thing.
something today.
So actually, feel free to have your hot take here because I would love to get
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
but
Before Noah even sorry, really quick, I just want to give some context. So if you wouldn't mind just talking about like
Yeah.
what happened, right? Like
Yeah,
just-
yeah. So, well, are you talking about the Stadia guy? That's not
Yeah.
actually a Stadia guy. Okay.
at the moment, it seems
Yeah.
like
Yeah, his Alex Hutchinson, I think is his name. And he he was marked as creative director at Stadia. He wasn't actually a creative director at Stadia. He was creative director at a company that was bought by Stadia.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he came out and said basically, hey, you content creators that are all worried about music, you should really be worried about, game publishers and developers charging you to play their games because, that's the next step.
Mhm.
And first of all, he's on to something insofar as listen to that legalese, insofar as we play games on this platform without an express license to play those games. So technically everything we do on this platform is illegal.
Mhm.
The case can
There's
be
your
made.
clip. Yeah.
100%.
The case
There it
can
is.
be made.
The clickbait in this video is gonna be so good. You're
It's
breaking the law right now.
You better
I
be
am.
keeping notes, PM. We got 18 videos to make out of this thing.
So but what's interesting is because Facebook paid for the rights to the music, there are publishers out there that are considering, hey, what if this next game release was a Facebook gaming exclusive and Facebook paid us for the exclusive rights to stream this on their platform?
Mm,
Now they're not looking at having the content creator pay it, but they're
It's
looking
platform.
at a new sort of
Yeah.
platform war like we used to have with Xbox and PS4.
Yeah.
And so that
Which-
would be a huge problem for a guy like Nick Merckx, who
It would be huge.
yeah.
just does COD. What if COD's all of a sudden just on Facebook? What does he do then?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's like, oh, great, thanks for not charging us, but also you have taken away the thing that like well, and it's also kind of goes in the face of a little bit the idea that like people come to watch you for you.
Yeah.
Because true, but if you're not doing the thing they like, will they watch you?
Yeah, and that's when you know who the real ones are.
That's true.
That's when you find your mods. I've been around the block. So
You've been here through 3 games. You're now a
Yeah.
moderator.
That's
Congratulations.
right. you are funny. You are funny person in chat. Here are powers. So I mean, and I don't know that this is, I would even say, imminent or likely, because
Hmm.
the PR aspect of that would be, it's up in the air. But right now, we're not vilifying Facebook for getting the rights. We're vilifying Twitch for not.
Yeah.
So think about that.
True.
Yeah,
Good point.
those are entirely possible. I don't know, from a business interesting business side of my brain is like, oh, that'd be how would that work? Like it'd be super like there's yeah, that'll pigeonhole, but at the same time, it'll create all these other opportunities where like it's more valuable to say your platform gets it now you get to be one of the people that like gets to be in the group that's like unveiling it.
Yeah.
Like imagine the dollars attached to that. Like it's going to be more
Yeah.
than anything anyone's ever seen, right? So like
Yeah.
there's we really hope things don't become exclusive that way because I mean
I
really
hope they
really
don't too.
yeah because
That
that
would suck.
because you're literally putting walls around content on a platform, and that's
Right.
just never a good just a business idea. Just like how games can technically be like, hey, you're using our content, especially like games that are really story driven RPGs. Like we wrote this as a story, and you're telling the story in front of everybody. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I could see why it would be more of an incentive to do it there, but they don't want to. They know that them playing it and people watching are making it more likely that more people than before are going to buy their game and pay them on the front end.
Yeah.
Which, so if taking that down or making that super, like creating more barriers to entry and buying the game, or at least seeing the game or becoming interested in the game, is just shooting yourself in the foot. And that's why no one's doing it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But they could there's a lot of things out there where like you're like technically they could come after me for this, but they won't because they like that I'm talking about their thing. Like
And-
that's a line that everyone's gonna be like always jumping around all the time. That's just content creation, right?
I'd say that's a good segue into one of the number one questions I get about music on the platform.
Okay.
A lot of people say, well, so these artists should be happy that I'm playing their music because they're getting paid in exposure bucks, and that's true for some
Mhm.
people. But frankly, Miley Cyrus doesn't need your help. And she doesn't need your even if you have 6,000 viewers, she doesn't necessarily need that.
No.
So one of the questions I get is, well, I tweeted at so and so, like Trainwrecks. I tweeted at 21 Savage. He said I could use his music. His response really for show.
For
That's
show.
that's not a license, guys. That's not what you need. It doesn't matter if you have a paid Spotify subscription. Doesn't matter if you pay for to the performing rights organizations. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Doesn't matter if you have a random tweet saying, "Yeah, go for it." You need a license to the composition and musical recording of the content.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Which-
and
Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Oh yeah.
Hold on,
I was
thought.
gonna say, so from record labels, you need a master use license. That's the recording. You need masters for the masters.
Mhm.
For the publishers, which is the written composition, you need a public performance and a synchronization license. And you can usually get a master use license pretty easily. You can usually get a public performance license pretty easily. The synchronization license, though, is what is what I would be able to charge the most for as a lawyer, as a musician, etc., because that's what you need to put a song behind a Honda commercial, and those are extremely
Mm.
valuable.
Mhm.
So that's why you need express written permission to do that kind of thing. So no, a tweet won't work.
Tweets don't work, but again, silver linings. There are now we have a really interesting opportunity, like because there's lots of artists that create music. I was watching one of the guys from Linkin Park does a live stream, and he literally draws things out of a hat, like ideas, like styles of music, and that's the coolest thing ever. But Dead Mouse was one of the
Wow.
first guys I watched. There's lots of producers on the platform. A guy named
Brendan Urie's on too.
Brendan Urie's
Mm.
on, Dylan Francis is on,
T-Pain.
Oh yeah.
Jaws, like all these guys that T-Pain's huge. And actually T-Pain came out with a released almost like a sub label
Yeah,
on his own.
Hazelpack or whatever.
Yeah,
Yep.
Pizzle Pack. And it's so like now becoming big creators can start making real relationships, business relationships, where they can figure out how they together are getting music put on the site, and then that can become a bigger thing. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity, and we're going to see that. We're going to see people leading the way there, and then
Mhm.
the way both those parties it's like another income stream. It could become another income stream both
Oh
sides,
yeah.
which is awesome, and it's all happened because the CMCA thing happened. So that's pretty cool. But silver lining. But we got to move on because, like we said, we have a little
One
bit of
last
time
thing,
here.
real quick.
All right, hit it.
Twitch soundtrack doesn't give you the rights you need.
Yeah.
There you go.
Saw that.
Don't lean in on. Just be very careful right now. Like I would say, just be
Yeah.
insane. If you can avoid it, just
Yeah.
talk. Just be
I don't
you.
want to say I'm not. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying don't trust Twitch. Let's move on to the game.
All right, yeah. Just let's chill and see how it kind of shakes out. There's going to be a lot more. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more resources happening very quickly, and we're going to
Yeah.
see them snowballing and people like figuring out what works. And there'll be a lot of options soon, just not right now. Okay, we're moving on. Before we go into the game, let me just remind you, we are now live on this Twitch channel every week. That is the May Contain Action. Please follow the channel if you don't already. Hit the little heart at the beginning, at the top of the screen. That would be very helpful to us, so you'll never, and turn on the notifications so you'll never miss the live show. If you're not a live show viewer, then just keep listening to wherever you're listening. Also, sub to the YouTube channel. There's going to be 19 videos from this episode that all have clickbait titles. Go check them out. It is the May Contain Pod. May Contain Action also on YouTube. Same name.
Yeah.
Now, moving into the game, I had a very special game. I'm going to be the game master today. Usually it's PM, but because we have a lawyer here,
Uh-oh.
I created a new game. It's called Law or Nah. All right.
Okay.
We got 7, and these are all like criminal laws too, like weird misdemeanors, and
Good.
you know how these things come up on BuzzFeed all the time.
Yeah.
We got 7 statements. Basically, a law means true, nah means false. And I'm pitting. You can say true or false if you want. I'm pitting you two against each other. I don't know, PM. If you want to play, you can play. Again, they're true or false.
Hey.
2 options. It's up to you.
I'm in.
State your case now. You're in. All right, all 3 are gonna play. Cool.
Good luck, Peter.
So basically, I'll just read it out. You just tell me if you think it's a law or it's nah, and I'll try to keep score as best I can. All right.
All right.
All right. Going in the first one's very easy. In 2009, Vermont banned clotheslines statewide. Having a clothesline, like drying your clothes on a clothesline. True or false? Law or nah?
I'm gonna say Vermont seems really granola-y. I'm gonna say nah, like crunchy granola. Crunchy granola. You know, like they're probably into that. Like they probably hate dryers over there. So I'm gonna
So
say
you're-
nah,
So you're saying it's not
not a
a
law.
law?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say nah. No. Yeah, nah.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go no too. Nah.
It is 1-1. It is not. It actually is. It is
Yeah.
actually illegal to ban clotheslines.
Oh.
So
What?
the community actually can't ban clotheslines. It's
Public
illegal to
policy
ban.
argument.
You can't ban bans. Or they're banning bans. Actually, sorry, that was a triple negative. I meant
That's
a negative, double negative.
incredible.
All right,
Yeah.
Fred Flintstone band
We
man.
sh-
So that literally came up somewhere. They had that conversation. They're like, "Yo, dude, I'm tired of people banning clotheslines." They're like, "Oh, ban those guys."
Let's
All
just
right,
make it illegal. Let's just ban those guys from saying it.
all right, we are 1-1. Wow, it's crazy that all 3 of you got it. All right, going into number 2. If you hunt big game in California, you cannot use dogs to aid you. Meaning, you have to go like just only you and your weapon. You can't have any sort of dog helping you get the animal. True. Law or nah?
Oh, that's a law.
I'm going.
I'm
law.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's saying you cannot use dogs.
You cannot use dogs.
I think that's a nah.
Paul, 2.
Yeah.
PM, 2. Noah.
I
Wrong.
beat
It
the
is
lawyer.
actually- It is illegal to use dogs to hunt big game in California. I don't know what big game is. Bears
I thought that was gonna be a trick.
or
Lions,
like mountain lions, probably.
Let me
a
look.
freaking rhino. You know, big game.
Right.
I don't know what big game is in Cali, but there is
Freaking
something,
I just
and you
told
can't
you.
use dogs. It's got to be hard to do,
Wow.
evidently. All right, moving on to number 3. You cannot use a false name or alias when booking a hotel in Washington State. You have to use your real name. Law or not?
Isn't that a law everywhere? That's
No.
No, it's not a lie everywhere.
I know for a fact it's not a law
What?
everywhere. I have
I was gonna
teammates who
say,
do it all.
yeah. Famous people
Nah.
do all the time. They do different names, right?
I'll say nah.
I'm gonna go nah too.
All 3 nahs.
You say not to? No, sorry.
Yeah,
We
nah,
all said
nah.
no. You were all 3 correct. It's actually New Hampshire where that is illegal, and I believe
Oh.
it's one of 2 states. Washington is not. I tried to throw her.
So you're telling me this whole time I could have been being like Buzz Lightyear whenever I freaking like do a hotel room or
Yes,
anything?
I have a teammate that would make his alias was Oliver Close Off.
That's horrible.
But it was just Oliver C.
Yeah.
on it.
my.
Or no, Oliver K. Oliver Closeoff was his name.
Yeah.
I was like, you're an idiot. But no one was ever going to find him, so it's
We
more
were a
just
stand-up
a
chat.
joke
My
than
bet's on
anything.
Tyler Clippard.
Yeah,
Of course.
it's
I
not
can't wait to
Tyler
start
Clippard.
signing
It's not
stuff.
Tyler Clippard. All right, moving on to number 4. We got a
I'm
pretty,
Trevor May.
We got
I'll take
We're neck and neck
Mike's
here.
Ox Long. There we go.
Jesus. You cannot impersonate a religious figure in public in Alabama. So if you are not an actual priest, rabbi, nun, you cannot dress up as one or allude
that's
that
all.
you are one in public in Alabama.
In the Bible Belt, that's a law. 100%.
That's a law.
That's a law in the Bible
It is
Belt.
the law all the way across. Good job,
Yeah.
all three of you guys. But like this includes Halloween costumes.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That is
So
wild.
technically, it is
Wow.
illegal.
So if you're thinking about
Again.
that, you got 2 days to get a new costume.
There you go.
Mhm.
Holy
In
crap.
Alabama.
That's
Okay, number 5. We're 4 to 3. You guys are really good.
The lawyer's losing.
imagine.
There's still hope. Throwing snowballs was a misdemeanor until 2019 in Colorado.
See, I'm sure it's illegal somewhere, but I don't think it's Colorado. I'm gonna say no.
That's a nah. There's too much snow in Colorado. That's a nah.
I'm gonna go with yes. I'm gonna go with it's a law. I feel like that's a place that would do it. They've had so many of them, it would do it.
One of you is about to be tied with me.
PM, you got it correctly. Both of you got it. The other two got it wrong. PM is leading 5-4 to 3.
Wow.
Yes, Colorado. Up until
God.
last year, it was technically illegal to throw. Basically, like if you hit someone with a snowball and they got hurt,
That's
was
so
illegal?
battery.
they would
That's
they would
fair.
win no matter what.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But
Think
in
about
other in other states, it's considered like it was more considered like a
Recreational.
not recreational, not like an accident. So it became like intent was the key in
Wow.
Colorado
It is.
until last year. Yeah.
Especially in murder.
Especially in places where it
Death
gets
by
so
snowball.
cold, right?
I love relating everything to murder. Thank you for doing that.
I got
All
you,
right.
bud.
It's like murder.
Moving on to number 6. Adultery is still illegal in New York State.
I'm gonna go nah, just because it's New York.
Nah, it's a law. That feels like one of those old laws we haven't fixed yet.
It's still a law.
Yeah.
It is
That's a
still a law. 5-5-4. Ooh, I
Back
can't
with
wait.
you, baby. What's up, PM? Where you going? Now get away
I've
from
seen
me.
some things. I'm just saying.
You
All
get
right,
back
here's
here.
the last one, and this is associated with this year, which I'm so excited about. 2020 saw happy hour, aka discounting liquor or alcoholic beverages, become legal finally in all 50 states. So happy hour became legal this year in all 50 states. Law or not?
Law.
Ooh. Ooh.
No, you say law or Paul said law?
I said law.
Okay.
You gotta think of like North Dakota and Alaska and
Utah.
Utah and all these places.
They
that-
low key love their bourbon in Utah, dude.
that don't really believe in the COVID. You gotta think of these places that probably don't want to
Because you're
shut their bar
excited.
down.
Because you're excited, I'll say law. But I don't actually believe it.
PM, you say law or what?
I'm gonna go nah. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna go nah.
You three guys tied. It is actually
What?
still illegal in Utah.
I knew it! Utah! What's up?
Son,
Utah, you cannot just discount for any reason in order to promote inebriation.
Bro, we just ruined the
That was
clickbait. I'm
Utah.
smarter than a lawyer. Dang it.
We had a 3-way tie for the first time in the history of our game, and I'm actually pumped because that was awesome. Good job, guys.
That was awesome.
I've
Holy
got,
crap.
I've got another
Do it
one
again.
for you. In Virginia, it's illegal to deface a milk carton.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
I learned that one as a criminal defense intern.
Holy crap. I did that all the time as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
The faces you draw on those
Growing
things?
up in Virginia.
That's insane. Dude, great game. Bro.
That was
Great game.
awesome. Well
That was
done.
Great. Very good. I mean, that's good even when we don't have lawyers,
Oh,
I have
he's
to be honest
muted.
with you. Oh, you're muted.
Oh my
Trevor?
God, I'm always
Trevor, you're
muted.
Trevor, you've been
Sorry.
muted for
That time I actually touched my my pedal, so that was just me.
That sounds personal.
Manscaped can help you with that.
Great
job,
stuff,
everybody.
That was awesome.
Love it. All right. This is our kind of our last part. We just want to give a little shout out to people that we've been watching lately and content creators that we like and things like that. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been playing WoW in all of my free time, just about in preparation for Shadowlands. And this is a content creation company, I guess. I think I mentioned them before, but they're new rock stars. They do a lot of breakdowns of different movies and genres and things like that, and they go to kind of like in deep dives of different shows and like WandaVision that's going to be coming out soon, and The Mandalorian. I'm pining for Mandalorian coming here so quick. I just can't wait. Side note: if you have Disney Plus, watch The Mandalorian like behind the scenes, where they go over like the directors and the legacy and all this stuff. Dave Filoni, that man nearly brought me to tears talking about the Battle of the Fate scene with Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. I know that's really weird, and it's a big nerd thing that I would get emotional about that. That was my childhood, and I was like, this guy is speaking into my soul. I digress. The point is, they talk about that on New Rock Stars, and it's just great content. They have a whole podcast up as well. I'm immediately forgetting the name of their podcast, but if you just go to youtube.com and search New Rock Stars, it's all up there. They're a bunch of nerds. They're super awesome. One guy lives in Rochester, which is close to me, which is shout out for Rochester.
Rochester. I play baseball there.
Rochester.
Rochester.
What are they called? The cock hens? What are they? The gaming hens? The
What?
What are they? What are they?
The
What's
Gamecocks?
Red
Rochester?
Wings, you weirdo.
Red Wings?
Red Wings.
Close enough. It's all the same.
Or the Rochester plates on Thursdays. That's when we do our food thing.
Oh, that's right. Garbage plates. That's right.
So
So that is my pick. That's my shot for this week. Trevor, who do you got?
I'm gonna shout out a friend that I've actually played games with once, but I've been in his stream a lot. We've conversed a lot on Twitter. Jericho Tucker.
Hey,
Jericho
Jericho.
is. I want to give him a shout out here. The reason that I have been thinking about him a lot is the range of the stuff this guy does, like content creation wise, from hosting to running his own stream to like having special themed days for certain types of streams he's going to do for like games he plays, for like how he loves music and all the stuff he's into. He's found a way to like create his channel and his brand around it all, which is super interesting to me. So he's like, because I try to do similar things. So I've just been getting a lot of inspiration from all the stuff he's been doing. He's an incredible content creator. He's been around for a very long time. You've seen him somewhere. If you are listening or watching this live or listening on a pod, you have heard Jericho's voice somewhere. 100%. And he's a good dude, and he's hilarious, and you should go check him out on Twitch.
I know
Jericho.
for the sake of time we got to get going. I just want to give 2 shouts for Jericho specifically because of DMCA. He has something on YouTube called Night Mode. I think he's also on Spotify and iTunes as well. NIGHTMODE. Songs in there are nuts. It's incredible. So he's curated that music. As far as I know, it's copyright free, but
Safe to use on stream.
safe to use on streams. Thank you, lawyer. We have a lawyer here now on MC. So yeah, go check that out. Night Mode's amazing. Noah, have you been watching anyone recently? I want to get a shout out to.
Dude, I watch Twitch all day. I don't do legal work. But I'm kidding. I have somebody up all day though. And since the beginning, it's been McLaffy Taffy. That's MC Laffy Taffy, LAFFYTAFFY, and the reason is because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. He is part of the reason I am a content creator lawyer. I met him when I was a 14-year-old actor here in Richmond, and he was a 23-year-old actor, and we became best friends, and I grew up to be his lawyer. So he's a full-time
Amazing.
content creator. He helped found the Wolfless channel on YouTube, former passive aggression host, and he streams every Monday through Saturday, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, going to about 3 in the afternoon.
Wow,
McLaffy Taffy.
That's
He
cool. That
is
hit deep.
Funny as hell.
Mick Laffy Taffy, and you guys have been buds since you're 14.
Yeah, since I was 14, and I'm 29 right now.
Jeez. That's incredible.
Yeah, so
30's coming for you soon, dude.
Absolutely great. Yeah, I'm going to turn 30 on December 11th. So
It is as awful as they say.
I heard.
Noah, thank you for that. Those are some great shout outs. I love those actually. No, for you, is there anything coming up that's next? Any events, streams, merch, anything you want to give a shout out to really quick?
Yeah, so I appear occasionally on the Robot Congress podcast. That is our law firm's podcast. You can find it on places where you find podcasts, except Twitch. I also stream occasionally. I am likely going to be streaming for St. Jude at some point this year because, it's for the kids, man. Gotta take
Love
care
it.
of them.
Mhm.
But in general, just I'll announce it on Twitter. That's twitter.com/mylawyerfriend, or you can follow me on Twitch.
I love that.
Sweet.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
I also
as
do
always,
free consults.
free consults, guys. He's probably gonna be. I mean, gonna be his first one after this podcast is over. I have questions. All right. Okay, guys, don't forget we have 2 ways to get on the pod in addition to the review of the week. Please use the hashtag AskMCA. The more you guys use that, the more we have a compilation of different questions that we can ask our guest. It is a real thing. Go ahead and use that hashtag AskMCA or reply to the tweet, which announces our new guest, which should be live Monday. So if you're looking for, hey, I wonder who's going to be on the podcast next Monday, check the Twitter. We should be tweeting out then, and you can use the hashtag or reply in that message so we can ask about your burning questions.
Do it.
Do it. Freaking do it.
Like, man, I wish they asked this question. Do it.
Ask the question.
Ask
All right.
it.
Use the hashtag. Before we go, again, huge shout out to our review of the week from Jehu _va.
Yeah, I don't know.
JEHU_va. It means something. Who said top-notch banter, guys. Really enjoy hearing the different journeys streamers take and how many intersect to varying degrees. This is very well said. Please continue shining a spotlight on these individuals who need to be seen and heard by the masses. Oh, and by the way, hashtag Jen for co-host. Absolutely not. Jenticles is not affiliated with the stream or the podcast whatsoever, and she never will be. She's the worst. All right, moving right along. Thank you so much for that review of the week. That was fantastic. Thank you, Jehovah. Guys, this is the May Contain Action podcast. If you weren't sure, 2 hours in, or however long this has been, you can listen on all major carriers of podcasts, including Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and watch the VOD on YouTube, which should be out on Fridays. Again, we announced a new guest on Monday. The podcast comes out on Thursday, which is live streamed, and then you get the YouTube video on Friday. We're very organized. I need someone to appreciate it. Also, go follow us at May Contain Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow us on Twitch. Noah, one last time, where can people find you?
On Twitter, my lawyer friend, or you can find me on Twitch. Same thing, my lawyer friend.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Noah, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. It has been enlightening, to say the least.
Happy to be here. Thanks so much, guys.
Love
Thanks,
it.
guys. See you next week.